Welcome to our channel. Today, we pause to remember a life that touched hearts and left a lasting impact. We'll explore their journey, the challenges they faced, and the moments that made them unforgettable. Join us as we honor their story, celebrate their legacy, and reflect on the memories that will continue to inspire and live on in the hearts of those who knew them. The lights in Los Angeles felt a little dimmer this week. On the morning of February 15, 2026, tragic news was confirmed. Robert Duvall had passed away at the age of 95. For many, it felt like the closing of a long and powerful chapter in American film history. He was not just an actor. He was a quiet force. A steady presence. One of the last living links to Hollywood's golden age. His career stretched across 7 decades. From the early days of black and white television to modern cinema, he stood firm in his craft. He never chased fame loudly. Instead, he let his work speak. Audiences first saw his strength in small but unforgettable roles. Over time, those roles grew larger. His performance as Tom Hagen in The Godfather remains one of the most controlled and memorable portrayals in film history. With calm eyes and measured words, he showed that power does not always need to shout. Years later, in Tender Mercies, he revealed another side. Gentle. Broken. Human. That role earned him an Academy Award and deep respect from critics and fans alike. He could play a lawyer, a soldier, a preacher, or a country singer. And each time, he felt real. Directors often spoke of his discipline. Fellow actors admired his focus. He prepared quietly. He listened closely. He believed in truth on screen. In a past interview, Duvall once said, "The thing about acting is you have to live truthfully under imaginary circumstances." It was a simple line. But it explained his entire career. News of his passing brought a wave of tributes. Actors, filmmakers, and fans shared their memories online. Many described him as a master of subtlety. One fellow actor wrote, "Robert Duvall taught us that stillness can be more powerful than noise." Another tribute from a longtime director read, "He never needed the spotlight. The spotlight found him." Family members shared a brief statement, asking for privacy and thanking fans for their love. "He lived with quiet strength and deep gratitude," the statement said. "He gave his heart to his work and to those he cared about." Beyond awards and praise, it was his consistency that defined him. He worked steadily into his later years. Even as Hollywood changed, his values did not. He respected storytelling. He respected the audience. He was also known for his love of simple living. Away from the red carpets, he preferred open spaces and calm surroundings. Friends said he valued honesty over glamour. Younger actors often studied his performances. They watched how he used silence. How he carried emotion in a single glance. He proved that greatness does not require loud gestures. It requires patience. Throughout his life, he avoided scandal and drama. His focus remained on the craft itself. He chose roles that meant something. Roles that explored faith, justice, family, and inner struggle. Film historians often called him one of the greatest character actors of his generation. But many believed he was more than that. He was a leading man who never demanded to be called one. As the news spread, classic scenes began circulating again. Clips from The Godfather. Moments from Apocalypse Now. Lines delivered with calm intensity. Viewers returned to those scenes not just to remember a character, but to remember the man behind it. There was dignity in the way he carried himself. On screen and off. His passing marks the end of an era. A time when actors built careers slowly. When patience shaped talent. when dedication meant a lifetime of work. Yet his influence will not fade. Film schools will continue to study his performances. Directors will continue to reference his discipline. Audiences will continue to feel the weight of his quiet presence. In the words of one longtime fan, he made every scene feel honest. He made every story feel real. Robert Duvall leaves behind a body of work that shaped American cinema. But more than that, he leaves behind a standard. A reminder that strength can be gentle. That authority can be calm. That true artistry does not need to shout. As the curtains close on his remarkable life, the films remain. The characters remain. The lessons remain. And in darkened theaters, when his steady voice fills the screen once more, he will not feel gone. He will be remembered, not only as one of Hollywood's last giants, but as a man who showed the world the quiet power of truth. The radio felt softer this week. On February 16, 2026, tragic news was confirmed. Billy Steinberg had passed away at the age of 75. For many, his name may not have always stood in bright lights. But his words did. His lyrics traveled across cities, across oceans, and into the hearts of millions. Billy Steinberg helped define the sound of the 1980s. Working closely with songwriter Tom Kelly, he created songs that shaped a generation. Their partnership became one of the most successful in pop music history. From the bold energy of Like a Virgin to the tender emotion of Eternal Flame, his writing carried honesty. It carried longing. It carried hope. He understood something simple yet powerful. A song does not only need a melody. It needs truth. And Steinberg had a gift for turning personal feelings into universal lines. Born in California, he grew up surrounded by music and art. But success did not come overnight. In his early years, he struggled to find his place in the industry. He worked quietly. He kept writing. Then came the breakthrough. When Like a Virgin became a global hit, the world began to notice. Soon after, True Colors, Alone, and many others followed. Each song different in sound, yet connected by emotional clarity. Artists trusted him. They felt safe with his words. In interviews, Steinberg once shared, "The best lyrics come from something real. If it moves you, it might move someone else." That belief guided his career for decades. News of his passing brought an outpouring of tributes from musicians around the world. Many described him as gentle and thoughtful. A craftsman of feeling. One longtime collaborator wrote, "Billy had a rare gift. He could take a private emotion and turn it into an anthem." A singer who recorded one of his hits shared on social media, "His words helped me find my voice. I will always be grateful." Family members released a brief statement asking for privacy. Billy lived for music and for the people he loved, the message read. He believed in the power of a song to heal. Throughout his career, Steinberg remained humble. He preferred writing rooms to red carpets. He cared more about the next lyric than public praise. Even as music trends changed, his songs remained. They played at weddings. They played on road trips. They played in quiet bedrooms where someone needed comfort. He did not just write chart toppers. He wrote memories. Many fans shared stories online this week. Some spoke of dancing to his songs in the 1980s. Others remembered hearing them during difficult times. A common theme appeared again and again: his music felt personal. In the world of pop, where styles come and go, true songwriting lasts. And Steinberg's words lasted. He understood heartbreak without bitterness. He wrote about love without losing strength. His lyrics were clear, but never simple. They carried depth without heavy words. The partnership with Tom Kelly became legendary not because of fame alone, but because of consistency. Together, they created music that balanced honesty and melody. That balance is rare. As radio stations replay his songs in tribute, listeners are reminded of how deeply those lyrics shaped their lives. Some may hum along without even knowing his name. Yet his voice is there, in every line. His passing marks the end of a powerful chapter in pop history. But it does not silence the music. Young songwriters will continue to study his craft. Artists will continue to find comfort in his words. And fans will continue to sing along, perhaps a little more softly now. Billy Steinberg leaves behind no grand speeches. No dramatic headlines. He leaves behind melodies. He leaves behind emotion set to rhythm. And in living rooms, in cars, and on late-night radio waves, his lyrics will rise again. Because long after the charts move on, a great song remains. He will be remembered not only as a hitmaker behind a generation, but as a writer who gave feelings a voice, and gave millions of people words for moments they could not explain. The sound of sacred music felt especially tender this week. On February 11, 2026, tragic news was confirmed. Helmuth Rilling had passed away at the age of 92. For many across the world of classical music, it was more than the loss of a conductor. It was the farewell of a guardian. A man who gave his life to preserving beauty, discipline, and faith through song. Helmuth Rilling devoted himself to the music of Johann Sebastian Bach. At a time when styles were changing and audiences were shifting, he remained steady. He believed that sacred music was not only history. It was living truth. Born in Germany in 1933, Rilling grew up during difficult years in Europe. Yet even in uncertain times, music became his anchor. He studied deeply. He listened closely. And from a young age, he felt called to lead voices in harmony. In 1954, he founded the Göttinger Cantorii. It began as a small choir. Over time, it grew into one of the most respected ensembles in the world. Under his direction, the group became known for clarity, precision, and emotional depth. Years later, he co-founded the Oregon Bach Festival in the United States. What began as a regional celebration became an international gathering. Singers and musicians traveled from across the globe to study and perform under his guidance. Rilling believed that every note carried meaning. He approached Bach's works not as museum pieces, but as messages. He once said, "Bach speaks to the heart, but only if we listen with humility." That belief shaped every rehearsal. Colleagues described him as disciplined but kind. He expected excellence. But he led with respect. One former student shared, "Maestro Rilling taught us that music is service. It is not about the conductor. It is about the composer and the message." Another tribute from a fellow conductor read, "He carried Bach's music like a sacred trust. Through him, the music felt alive." Throughout his long career, Rilling recorded extensively. His interpretations of Bach's cantatas and passions became reference points for choirs worldwide. He did not chase trends. He pursued understanding. In rehearsal halls, he was known for quiet focus. He would stop the music gently. He would ask for balance, for breath, for meaning. Singers recall the way he closed his eyes while listening, as if searching for something deeper than sound. Family members released a brief statement following his passing. Helmuth lived for faith, for family, and for music, they said. He believed that harmony in song could reflect harmony in life. Even into his later years, he remained active. He traveled. He taught. He encouraged young musicians to respect tradition while seeking sincerity. his work helped shape modern choral standards. Many ensembles today follow principles he strengthened: clear diction, steady tempo, spiritual depth. His influence reached far beyond Germany or America. It became global. As news of his death spread, choirs around the world honored him in a simple way. They sang in cathedrals, in concert halls, in small churches. His legacy echoed in each voice. For decades, Helmuth Rilling stood between history and the present. He carried music written centuries ago and offered it freshly to each new audience. He reminded listeners that sacred works are not distant. They are human. His passing marks the end of an era in classical music leadership. Yet the sound he nurtured will not fade. It lives in recordings. It lives in trained voices. It lives in the careful breath before a choir begins. Wherever Bach's music rises with reverence and precision, his influence can be felt. Helmuth Rilling will be remembered not only as a conductor, but as a faithful steward of timeless art. A man who believed that music could lift the soul. And in the quiet spaces between notes, his devotion will continue to guide generations yet to sing.